and welcome to the shed. In today's video I'm going to be upgrading the storage of some of my finishes and glues so that they last longer in my workshop. So for those of you unaware, I'm in an uninsulated, climate controlled shed. I have a little bit of foam up on the roof just to stop some of that heat coming in through. The whole thing's painted white, but I still have issues with oxygen getting into my finishes and heat being a little bit of an issue. So what we're going to do today is look at my Airtight solutions. So what I've got are these Airtight kitchen canisters. This one's actually lost its seal, so that's probably not going to be as good as it should be. They're ones that are no longer being used, and so they're just these ones that you press in. They expel the air, and although there's going to be some air in them, one thing you can do, and I do have some inside, I'm going to actually put a couple of oxygen absorbers in these, and moisture absorbers, just to prevent that. Most of these finishes, like some of these shellacs, already have the things for absorbing moisture, so that's just a good way of protecting stuff. So what I've got here is my different shellacs. So I've got this one in a bag. This one actually came in this, and this actually helps to keep it cool. So this is my, if you look at it very carefully, this is my blonde shellac. It's a very fine powder, so I don't like to open it without my mask on. So that is actually going to go in a container by itself, and I'm going to leave that one in the bag, because the big killer for dry shellac like this when you mix your own is you need to get oxygen away from it, and you need to try and stop it from getting too hot. So with this one I have a big container of amber shellac flakes, and that is going to go in the big container here. I'm just going to tip that straight in, because this container it came in, oh no, I saw that coming. Looks like I'm going to be using two containers for this one. This container is not actually airtight, so get that airtight. I'll clean this mess up a bit later. So we'll just push that down in there. I didn't spill too much. This was one that didn't have the seal, so I'm not going to... It does still push most of the air out, but I'm going to use this one for the rest of this, because I want a good airtight seal for those. Now I have my dry hide glue here as well. I intend on getting into using this. I haven't quite got around to actually doing that yet, so hopefully it will fit with its bag. No, it's not going to fit in this canister, I don't think. This is for the hot hide glue. It just fits. I could take it out of the bag. There's a little bit of air in this bag, so what I might do is just pop the bag. There we go. I should tip that out, but for now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it in the bag, just so it's got an extra layer of protection there. Now, for my glues, I'm just going to sit them, and they don't fit. What I might do is actually try and search for a larger, taller canister that I can fit these in. The other stuff that I was planning to leave in here is my linseed oil putty, my hide glue. If you've got any pre-mixed shellac, you can sort of fit these inside some of these containers, because they dry out around, although these have a seal, they dry out around the little ring there, and then they're hard to open, especially this one here. So that can sit down in here. So anything that you can think of, you can sort of get to fit inside these canisters, depending on the shape of the canister, obviously. Since they didn't fit in there as well as I was hoping, the other thing I'm going to be storing in there is I keep my respirator, normally in a bag, but it fits inside this canister, and so it's already in a bag. Now it's in another canister. It's just got another layer of protection. Yes, this is the one that the seal doesn't keep the air out, but it's going to keep more air out than just the bag alone if it gets a little split, so that's going to store that nicely. We'll store this down in this one over here. has a better sealing lid. So the other thing, and although it doesn't need a lot of protection, it's good to keep some excess air off things like your beeswax. This was in an airtight bag, so if you open it up, tap it in here. I usually keep the stuff that I'm working with just in my jar here, so let's just open these ones here. This seals pretty well on the top of this jar for the beeswax. I like to keep excess moisture and air away from my beeswax if I can avoid it. So I'll tap that down in there, put that back on, and there we have it. That is my better storage, especially for my dry things like my shellacs, beeswax, better protection for my respirator. So any airtight container like that is actually a very good option. Now, something like this I'm not going to throw out, which had that amber shellac in there, because that's good for holding other things, brushes and other bits of loose odds and ends and bolts and stuff like that. So I won't be throwing that one out, just in case you were thinking I was going to. I'm not going to. And I will be on the look for a couple more of these canisters so I can store my glue in them, because I'm really eager to actually keep the air off my glue in particular. And also I might find a couple of smaller containers that I can actually just fit these shellacs in to try and stop the air getting in on the outside of the seal, because I'm really bad at wiping these off. Now, until I get something that I can fit with a seal for my glue, I'm actually going to sit them down inside this, because they'll actually fit in here. So you can see there's quite a bit of room sort of down in there, so I can get those bottles in there. And this is going to work in the meantime for my glue. And if you get a little bit of cling wrap, Glad wrap, put that on top. That'll act as a seal on that thread, and that's going to be another good layer just to keep air away from it. So I think for now I'm going to use this for my glue, and if I do eventually source some of these canisters that are a little bit taller for it, I might go ahead and grab one of them. So there you have it, folks. That is my airtight storage system for my glues and mainly my finishes that I don't want air getting into. Obviously, I need to get a couple more containers for a couple of these finishes, which I thought I had enough for. But as I said, in the meantime, and I have been storing them just in these yogurt pots, they do a pretty good job at keeping the air out. I use them for storing paint and stuff when I'm working with paints as well, so they do a good job, especially if you have a little bit of plastic wrap that goes over the top when you push these lids on. These containers with push-on lids and threaded lids, they actually work quite well in a pinch. Although I think these canisters with the seals are going to do a far better job, and that's why in particular I've got my shellac flakes into those ones, because we really need to keep the air away from your shellac, because that really does make it go off and it doesn't store as well when you get air into it. Do stay tuned for a solution that I'm coming up with to keep some of these in a cooler condition. I have been keeping them under my workbench in my old wooden tool chest that I made, that very first one, and if you're interested in seeing that build, that's down below. I've been keeping them in there and they stay fairly cool, but I have been coming up with a better solution, so I haven't quite got what I'm looking for. I've been looking out to try and buy something that's going to actually solve the problem once and for all for me, but I have a few storage issues as well that I have to deal with, so I will share that with you when that comes around. So if you like this video, please do like and subscribe down below. While you're down there, do sound off in the comments what you think on this storage system, and I'd love you to share what you use for storing your finishes and glues, so you don't have them dry out and so they can last better and longer in your workshops. And if you'd like to see another great video such as the one you've seen here today, do check out the video down here where I go through my favourite finishes. Bye for now.